proposals yourself, we'd love to hear them. In our past endeavors, we strove to create a community of cooperative and innovative student programmers. And now with KuriusHacks, we're continuing in the same vein of education with a touch of philanthropy. As such, we hope to initiate a partnership between the student and nonprofit communities in order to mutually benefit both, offering students opportunities to further the cause of nonprofits by tackling their most difficult problems through technology, thus allowing students to become the movers and shakers of tomorrow, so to speak. Over the next 48 hours, you'll hack and solve the challenges offered by these three nonprofits: TechAid from Centraide of Greater Montreal, the Canadian Polar Bear Habitat, and ourselves, Kurius. Alone or in teams, you'll have the chance to take on one or more of the challenges, ultimately submitting your work on Sunday evening to be reviewed by our panel of judges, who will then choose the winners. Don't forget to also check out the sponsor challenge by Echo AR, wherein you'll have the opportunity to make use of their own AR VR platform, which could prove useful in other challenges, by the way. Also remember our 4 workshops this weekend, which can all be found on the KuriusHacks page of our website. In fact, there's just one right after this opening ceremony, so stick around for 7 o'clock to discover Python with our mentor, Ali. Well, I think that's all. I'll pass the mic on to Fred now, our partnership director, and whom some of you may know as a Kurius mentor.
Thanks, Louis. So hi everyone, I'm Fred, and I'm also an administrator of Kurius, and I'm responsible, as you said, for sponsorships and partnerships. So the Kurius team would like to sincerely thank all of the advisors, sponsors, and nonprofits that helped make this event come to life. So thank you to the Google team as well as Google Stadia for sponsoring KuriusHacks and offering workshops for the event. Also, thank you to Echo AR for offering their platform for free to all participants for the length of the hackathon, as well as offering their own side challenge with a prize that come with it. We also want to thank Balsamiq as they offered a special 90-day extended trial promo code for their cloud. And also thank you to our nonprofit partners, TechAid and the Canadian Polar Bear Habitat, for coming up with challenges that mattered to them and for allowing the participants of KuriusHacks to have an impact on real-world problems. I will now leave the stage to Sébastien Puel, the general manager of Stadia Games and Entertainment here in Montreal. He's a gaming industry veteran who previously worked at Ubisoft, where he worked on well-known games such as Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six. So Sébastien, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Frederic. And happy to be here. Good evening, everybody. I think you are in different places in Canada, so maybe it's just the afternoon for some of you. So yes, just a word to actually start. Maybe then after a short conversation. So I'm Sébastien. I'm the general manager for Stadia in Montreal. Stadia is the game studio, the newly created game studio of Google in Montreal. And I'm extremely pleased to be here with you tonight. A few months ago, I had the first conversation with Fred, and I felt that the keyword is an expression he was using were totally aligned with what, in most cases, Google stand for, and especially, I mean, there are a few keywords. Like the first one is obviously curiosity. I think that's what drives us to technology most of the time. We understand the potential of technology, and we understand that it's with curiosity that you can unlock this potential. And I'm talking to a lot of young people, and I think that's my main advice is in those early days in your professional career or during your education is be curious. And if you are curious, the tech world is one of the most exciting one. The possibilities that we have for the years to come are just amazing. But the second part that was for me very important was actually using tech for good and trying to have a positive impact. This is something we talk a lot internally at Google. The Google teams are very active usually in their community because tech is, in a way, tech is like a knife. I mean, you can use it for bad, but it can be also an extremely extraordinarily useful tool. Without knives, there wouldn't be civilization in a way, and it's the same with technology. We can build technology in either way, for good or for bad. It's easy to exploit technology just for non-positive outcomes. It's incredibly powerful, but as well, I think technology can have incredible strong impact. Everybody knows we are in a world with a lot of threats. It's a difficult world, and we have huge problems. Whether it's global warming, ecological problems in general, whether it's about inequities, inclusion, access to school, access to health. And for most of those problems, the solution can never be only technical, but technology can help. So just as a word of introduction, I think it's incredibly encouraging to see this kind of hackathon that has technology for good as a purpose and as a goal. It's incredibly uplifting for us at Google. So there was no doubt that we wanted to be part of that. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you will be doing in the coming days. I participate myself in several hackathons like this. Sometimes you have some success. Failing is usually super rich in learnings as well. So don't be worried about failing and try. I think that's what is exciting in this kind of exercises. So enjoy it. And Fred, I leave the mic if you have any questions and can answer some of them if you want.
Yeah, so thanks a lot. If anyone has any questions for Sébastien, feel free to ask them in the general chat. We can have a short Q&A if people have questions for him. So yeah, we already had a few questions that we had that could be interesting for other people. So here's one. How did you get into game development in the first place?
Coming back to the first word, curiosity. I was, and I think that's what is great in technology. I think in the public today, there are not only programmers. I'm not a programmer at all. My education was finance and marketing, and it was at the end of the 90s. I was passionate about games, but I typically took a very different path. So I was working in airlines and food industry. And at some point I said to myself, you better do something that you love. And when I was 26 or 27, I applied for Ubisoft. And I started in marketing, and then I was interested in product. So interested in product that at some point I wanted to make products myself. So I switched to production, became a producer. And then, 15 years of production. I think that what is great in this field of technology is as there are a lot of new opportunities every year with every disruption of technology, there are many ways to change your career. I think that's one of the beauty. The number of people I've been seeing for instance, in the game industry coming from a lot of different horizons. I've been working with people who are anthropologists. I've been working with architects. I've been working with people who came from very, very different background. And also games, it's about technology, but it's also about art. So we have the chance to have programmers and artists working together. That's why it's an exciting industry. So yeah, the path was not very obvious at the beginning, but at some point I decided I better do what I love as a job.
Yeah, right. And we have a question in general chat. What makes Stadia different from other gaming studios?
So in terms of Stadia in itself is first the platform. So it's very different because it's a streaming platform. So you don't need a hardware to actually being able to play. I think what makes it different is, we had the chance to start from a blank page here in this amazing city of Montreal for video games. Montreal is certainly one of the most vibrant hub in the video game industry. But since the beginning, we had veterans of the game industry who came because they wanted to leave something different, and we can do that starting from scratch. So essentially, I would say, in a few words, we are trying to build the most inclusive studio as possible, and make a place where everybody coming from very different horizons, as I say, feel good and happy to work, and also happy because we have the chance to be working on games in the cloud, so that it's not just a change of technology. It might change gaming for the future. So innovation is at the heart of what we're doing. So most of the people who joined us so far are people who want to innovate or are passionate about innovation. So I would say, compared to other places, we might maybe take more risk in the future. We have maybe also a higher chance to fail, but we have a higher chance to find new ways of playing, and discover how to play games in the cloud that will be essentially different. So we have huge ambitions, but we want to do it in a way that is extremely inclusive. So I think that's what makes our studio a little bit different than other big powerhouses.
Okay. Well, thanks. Thanks a lot. Let's see. We have some other questions. Here's a more fun one, maybe. What's your favorite video game right now?
Oh, I don't know if I'm sure some of you just played Fall Guy.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite game of all time, but seeing that the industry can surprise us like this, even now, after the industry now is 40 years old, and sometimes you feel that the games will always be the same. There will be the next sequel of this shooter game, etc. And then this game comes and actually take the whole market, just because people are maybe in a situation right now where they want to have fun. They want to be in some kind of non-threatening environment. It's a very light tone. So I'm pretty amazed by this one. I'm playing Fall Guy right now. You should be playing it. It's good time, but it shows that this industry can be so diverse, from a Call of Duty to a beautiful adventure game like Assassin's Creed to Fall Guy. There is something for absolutely everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. It's a fun game. It's very different from all the other games that are
It is.
popular right now. Okay, here's another one from the chat. How long does it take to develop a game in general?
It totally depends. If you're working on a mobile game and you have a great small idea that is extremely addictive or fun, it can take from a couple of weeks, even sometimes, to a few months. When I was working on Assassin's Creed, most of the time it can be 3 to 4 years before the time you have the first idea to the day you release. And you can have a few horror stories that became success stories. In a whole, I think Rainbow Six took something like 9 years from the first concept to being in the hands of players, and now it's an amazing success. So it's usually a long time, with a lot of reboot, a lot of failures, a lot of dead ends. But yeah, so that totally depends on your ambition. It's also a place where, if you have small ideas, you can be extremely successful. So the success doesn't always depend on the time you spend on it, fortunately or unfortunately sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And here's another one. What's your favorite part of developing a game?
I love all of them, but if you join, I mean, I think if you join any kind of project in your future life, I mean, you will see it's a lot of highs and lows, and you never know exactly when the highs will be and when the lows will be. So I will say the easy answer, I love the very beginning when you're a very small team and you start to get incredibly excited by an idea and you feel that nobody has tried that, nobody has done that, and then you start the first prototypes and you validate your idea, and it takes a lot of tries, but when you manage to validate that idea, this is incredibly exciting. And of course, after, I mean, shipping a product, I've been working on 7 Assassin's Creed games. You're working a little bit, I would say, in your basement, even if it's a big basement where more than 1,000 people to work on it. But, it's very internal, nobody see it. You are full of doubts all the time, every day. And one day your game see the light. And you have to be ready because, I mean, the critic is tough. Sometimes it hurts. But, for some games, it has been a blast. I mean, the day when people discover, play for the first time during the Italian Renaissance, for the first time in a game, or playing pirates in an open world ocean, and people give you the feelings and emotions. That is the most rewarding thing I've experienced in my career. Yeah.
And why are games so expensive when you bring them to the market? Why does it cost so much? What's the not all games are expensive. Some games are born in hackathons like this one, and have been a success and cost a few hundred of thousands of dollars. Of course, this is very rare, but when you are in the blockbuster industry, what we call the AAA, if you want to tell huge stories, create huge universe, it takes a lot of assets, a lot of different gameplay. So it takes a lot of people. A game like Assassin's Creed is usually 1,000 player or more, 1,000 developers or more during 3 years. So in a way, this is the most expensive form of entertainment you can think of. No movie could cost as much as a game in terms of number of, in terms of the manpower you put in a game. No movie takes 1,000 people during 3 years. So it's a little bit like building the pyramids. It's incredibly huge. So that's why it's so costly. But at the same time, it's the biggest form of entertainment now. So when you hit success, I mean, this can be extremely profitable even if you spend a lot. But it's a high risk industry, but the hit and miss industry. Yeah. All right, and here's a question about Stadia more in general. At Stadia, do you prioritize creating games that are like different and have unique features, or do you prioritize basing new games off of some older ones and making the gameplay better or refining the gameplay?
The answer is very easy. We are here to show that streaming games in the future will give us as gamers much more possibilities and much better experiences. So we're not looking back, we're just looking ahead of us, trying to use this technology to create experiences that have never been seen before. Of course, whatever we do will be inspired. I mean, a lot of people have been working in this industry for 15 or 20 years, so there are ways to do things. We won't reinvent the wheel in whatever we do, but essentially we are doing totally new creations, only new IPs, and things that you have never seen before. I hope those things will be amazing, but in any case, those will be things you have never seen before.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's gonna be it for the Q&A. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. If any of you are interested in the game industry, do not hesitate to contact me. And have a great 3 days. 2 days.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I will now let Stephen take the mic, and he will introduce the different challenges of the hackathon. So, Stephen.
All right, thank you, Fred, and of course, thanks to Sebastian for his great talk and Q&A session. So let's get to the really exciting part of the challenge, the moment you guys all been waiting for. So as Louis said before, we're gonna have 3 different challenges for this hackathon, plus the Echo AR challenge. So I'm gonna take this time to quickly present them, and you guys can take notes, but we'll have all the information inside a PDF for you guys to refer if ever you forget some things. And there's gonna be links inside the PDFs because there's gonna be like pictures and more text for you guys to consult. So let's start with the first challenge, the Curious Challenge. So for the Curious Challenge, I'll briefly explain to you guys what we're looking for. So to remind you guys, we are, of course, a nonprofit youth organization, and our goal is to make coding more accessible to students. And we do this by organizing, various in-person and, because of COVID, online events such as workshops, month-long coding programs, learnathons, and hackathons like this one. And so far, everything that we've organized is hosted entirely on a Discord server. And we also have our website, curious.ca, where, most of our important information is consolidated. But for next year, we really want to grow this organization, and we really want to bring it to the next level. And so we came up with this new initiative called Hack It Forward, which will focus on maximizing the impact that students can bring to their communities. And so here's the sort of pitch or sort of problem that we want you guys to solve. So we want to build a web platform or sort of dashboard where users will be able to sign up, log in, and they're going to be able to find projects to get involved in. So imagine this dashboard, and then you log in and you see all these different projects. And so similar to the projects that we're presenting during this hackathon, the Curious Challenge, the Tech Ed Challenge, and the Canadian Polar Bear Challenge, all of them, they would be like on our Hack It Forward dashboard. And then people can sign up and they log in, and they can choose which project to participate in. And then other people can join as well. And then they can basically interact with each other, and they tackle these problems together. And these projects are going to be projects that are proposed by the partners that we're going to have. And that's pretty much it. And then there's also, for reference, we found this really great website called enlight.nyc. I can show you guys quickly over here. And so they sort of have this idea that we want to try to go for, where they have a lot of different projects, and each of them are sort of, these are more like tutorial sort of projects. So everything's already done for you, and you just have to go along. And so we also want to have this, but this is more beginner oriented. But we also want to have the dynamic projects, so projects that don't already have a solution, and it's up to participants, people who sign up for this project, to come up with a solution. And so that way, we have these dynamic projects that can have really tangible community impact, because once you come up with a solution, you're going to implement it, and you're going to see it actually fixing a real world problem. And so that's pretty much our sort of project or sort of challenge. And so don't be afraid to reach out to us on Discord if you have any more questions, or even right now if you have any questions about this specific challenge, you can ask away right now. If not, we're going to move on to the second challenge by Tech Ed. Okay, if there's nothing, we'll move on to the second challenge. And again, after this opening ceremony is over, I'll be sharing the PDF where you can see all the blur, all the text. So for Tech Ed, or like Tech Ed is basically under Centred, and Centred is one of the largest investors in the community sector here in Montreal. And each year, Centred organizes a fundraising campaign to help with their mission to end poverty and social isolation. But over the last few years, their fundraising results have been, their fundraising results have been increasing, but they still struggle to attract younger donors. And so, in the future, as their generous donors head into retirement, it's going to be important for them to recruit young donors to ensure that Centraide has, a stable income. And so your goal for TechEd for this hackathon is to come up with an innovative solution that can help them attract more donors, and especially the younger generation. And so this is a pretty vague sort of problem statement. And so what I would encourage you guys to do is to check out their website, Centraide. The link is in the PDF, and you can learn more about what they do and what sort of initiatives they already have. And they also have data that you can use to better understand what sort of problem you're facing. So this can be a really interesting sort of data analysis project. And then you can, based on the data you see, you can come up with an innovative solution. So that's the challenge for TechEd or Centraide. And finally, we have our third challenge, which is about a Canadian polar bear habitat. They're actually here in the voice channel. So if you guys have a question, I think they can also directly answer. But I'll just briefly present what their challenge is. So first of all, the Canadian polar bear habitat is known around the world for its polar bear research and education, but because of its remote location, it limits the number of students, teachers, and lifelong learners that it can reach. And so in order to connect with more people and boost its impact, the Canadian polar bear habitat would like to be able to deliver some sort of virtual experience. And so this could include things like handouts, interactive activities, graphics, videos, virtual tours, quizzes, anything, as long as the user is engaged and can navigate the experience with ease. So there's a lot of room for creativity, and they've attached a sort of Dropbox folder, and there's a lot of information that you can find on the map of what a real tour would look like. There's different images. There's just a bunch of information that you can learn about polar bears that you can consult to better understand their challenge and building your project to solve that challenge. And they also have their website for you to consult. So yeah, if you want to take this challenge, go for it. So those are the three main challenges. Your project should tackle one or more of these. You can submit multiple projects if you want, as long as they solve these challenges. But just be aware you only have like around 48 hours to do so. So yeah, keep track of your time. But we also have our last sort of sponsored challenge, which is Echo AR. So this is in a separate category. Echo AR, they worked with us, and they're going to offer their own sponsored challenge and sponsored prize. So they're going to offer a $50 gift card. I hear someone's Canadian polar bear. Did you want to say something? I think.
Oh, no, just excited to see what everyone comes up with. Thank you.
Awesome. And so Echo AR, they're sort of, essentially you can participate in the Echo AR challenge and do like the regular challenges, because this is more of an opt-in. I'm just gonna mute someone because it's a bit annoying. So Echo AR, let me pull it up. So they're a cloud platform for AR and VR that provides tools for server-side infrastructure to help developers and companies quickly build and deploy 3D apps. If you guys have been in a lot of hackathons, you've probably seen them around. And so they're offering this sponsorship package to us, so you can benefit from a faster and simpler development process for AR and VR apps. And so your challenge, if you want to opt into this, is to build the best AR or VR application using the Echo AR platform. And if you opt in for this, you have to use the Echo AR platform as part of your project to be eligible for a reward. And as I've said before, it's possible for you to win top 3 by coming up with a project that solves one of the 3 challenges, as well as participate in the opt-in sponsored challenge, as long as you meet both criteria, which means in the opt-in, you have to use Echo AR, and you have to sort of tackle one of the 3 challenges. And how you could do that. For example, just a small idea for the Canadian polar bear habitat. You could potentially try to use EcoAR's tools and try to solve the challenge proposed by the Canadian polar bear habitat. If you really want to try to explore AR in this hackathon. But the other two challenges, all of these challenges are super interesting. We've worked really hard to find the best challenges for you. So that's pretty much it in terms of all the challenges we have. And in terms of submissions, so the submissions end on Sunday at 6 p.m. And so the link you will submit on DevPost. This is the link for a DevPost. And if you don't know how submissions work, there's this link. We'll send it in the Discord afterwards. But if you've been in hackathons before, you've submitted through DevPost. And our last word for you guys is good luck. Have fun this weekend. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We're here for you. There's mentors on the server, and there's also workshops for you guys to consult. There's one at 7, so in like 30 minutes. It's an introduction to Python programming. So if you guys are interested, just hop in the workshop voice channel. And yeah, is there any questions? 8 p.m. No, it's 6 p.m. Yeah, Louis, it's 6 p.m. So yeah, it's gonna happen at 6. It ends at 6 p.m. and judging's gonna happen from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we're gonna announce the winners at 8 p.m. for the closing ceremony. If there's not any questions, that's it for the closing ceremony. But yeah, we really look forward to seeing what you guys come up with, and all the challenges. If you have any questions, we're here to help you.